Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I'm reviewing the Almost Heaven Salem 2-person barrel sauna that I got from selectsaunas.com. I've wanted to buy a sauna for a long time. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the health benefits and really just point people in the direction of just resources for why I personally like using the sauna. But I've noticed there's not a lot of reviews on saunas in general, but specifically with the Almost Heavens here. I will also have 2 links for videos showcasing how you build this. I'm going to talk about the process of building this, talk about the heater, and the upgrades that I've made to this as well. All of this, again, towards selectsaunas.com, because I went with them. I found the sauna cheaper than anywhere else I could find it, with more perks than I would get with going with another company. So let's go ahead and start with looking at the website. This is the actual sauna here. I'm going to showcase the heaters here in a second because I did go with an upgraded heater. Now the prices here, they kind of shift around, and I found an extra discount code. If I have any, I will make sure to put those in the description. So my grand total ended up being basically $4,700. It was like $4,702. And that is with the upgraded heater, because I went with the Harvia SWS0 here. So it's the 6 kilowatt hour. So it just has a little bit more power. My concern was I wouldn't get enough heat from the regular 4.5. I will showcase just a breakdown of that heater in terms of what it's meant for, just cubic feet wise, and how big the sauna is, because actually I went a little overboard. It's kind of overkill when it comes to the heater that I got. And I will showcase how hot the heater gets. But when you're going through this, choose the lumber, then choose the heater. You can have a floor. When you look at these, you will notice that there is a price if you want to upgrade this stuff. You don't have to. I just went with the base here. I don't have a floor. I don't have a window. The glass door, ironically, is the cheapest option when compared to just wood. You do get the lighting for free, just the regular warm light. You can do the RGB. I kind of wish I did the RGB. I'm hoping to get 2 down the road to put underneath the seats. You can do a rain jacket if you're going to keep this outside. Mine is not outside. It is in our garage. They have more options now. So the decorative rock they did not have when I bought this about 3 months ago. Here you could do those if you wanted to upgrade. They also didn't have the barrel sauna heat reflector shields. I kind of wish I had this. This is nice. I could always go back and buy it. So I do keep those things in mind. And then you have the sauna accessories. There are a ton of different things here in terms of, there's like hooks for clothing. You can do the thermometer / hydrometer. It doesn't come with one, keep that in mind. They have a timer in there, backrest. The complimentary thing that you do get, that you get now, I did not get one, which was the bucket ladle and then the actual thermometer, the hydrometer, so that's nice. And then you do get a complimentary exterior stain. I went with walnut. I haven't put it on yet. I kind of just like the smell and look of the cedar by itself, which is a big perk and upside having it in the garage. Every time we pull in, you just smell that cedar, and I love that smell, so I like the fact that we do have it in the garage there. So just went through, upgraded everything, and this is what it would cost now if I bought this with the upgraded heater that I currently have. But again, look for discount codes or coupons in the description if we can get a little bit more pulled off the price with this. Now with the heater, I will have a link for the user manual if you want to look at this and just set up and how you would actually install this if you want to. This is an Amazon listing for the heater itself. I want to note just on this, 4 sauna rooms up to 282 cubic feet. That's a lot. When we do just a loose calculation of what the cubic feet of this sauna is though, this roughly comes out to 117 cubic feet. So double that up, and then you would get what this is typically rated for. So in terms of temperature, I did want to showcase this really quick. This is going to be a still image of how hot this will get in this sauna. So here's an image. This is 223.7 degrees. We're going to zoom in on this. So I would say the 6 kilowatt for this size is probably, like I said, overkill. I think you could get away with a 4.5 if you're trying to keep this 176 to probably 200 degrees. That size should fit just fine. You don't really need to spend the extra money to get the larger heater here. Now I do want to note that that is peak heat. This is as hot as this will get. There is a thermostat on the bottom of the heater itself, so you could always turn that down. This is just peak heat. And with this peak heat, when it hits that, typically it lets it drop probably 30 to 40 degrees before I notice that it kicks back on. In terms of how quick it actually just gets to that high temperature, they say let it warm up for 30 minutes. With this size, I notice I can actually hit peak heat in about 15 to 20. Then it will actually drop back down. That's when you'll see that nosedive. It'll hit whatever threshold before it rises back up again. It doesn't hold a closer clamp on that, meaning it hits that peak heat and then it drops like 10 degrees and then starts to kick on again. It doesn't do that. It actually lets it drop considerably with this. That is one thing I do wish that the heater did better, but you could always get a different thermometer and swap out the one that is built in if you wanted to, and you had somebody that could do that for you. So with all that being said, now let's go ahead and shift over into actually just receiving the product and then the process of building it. So this usually ships in 4 to 6 weeks. I bought mine around Christmas, so it took a little bit longer just because of the holiday season, but the shipping company will contact you before they actually come to your house because they're going to need to have it on a semi that actually has the back end that can drop down, because it comes on this big pallet here, and so they'll actually pull that wherever you need it to be, and it is quite heavy. It has a top on it. I took the top off, and then it's all encased with the wood there, and everything is inside. Now this is the heater here that I'm unboxing, and on the top you'll find it just has some of the loose components here. Like one of them is actually one of the mounting hooks with this, and some of the electrical stuff as well. The top piece here, I did not put this on. I put the rocks on the heating elements. I don't like the top component because it sits really tight, so you can't actually fill it with rocks the way I wanted to. You do get the warning labels if you want to put those up somewhere. I do like how shiny this heater is, and with nothing in it, it is very light. But once you put those rocks in it, then it is very, very heavy. So on the left-hand side here, you will find the timer. The timer is unique. It only will stay on for an hour. If you actually turn this past that hour mark, you essentially put it on a countdown up to 8 hours. So it'll count down and then it hits the timer, it heats up, it holds that for 30 minutes. Basically it's saying, hey, it'll take 30 minutes to warm up, and then it'll hold it for 30 minutes. It really doesn't take quite that long, but you get the hour total where the unit is on. On the very bottom of the same side, this is that thermometer where you can adjust how hot this is going to get. Right above that, you just have more technical information on this unit itself. If you wanted to look at this, and it actually even kind of shows you how this should be set up for how it's going to heat the room. On the bottom, you take off a panel, and then this has all the electrical components. You are going to obviously want to use a professional electrician in order to install this. Now for me, I have a client that is a mechanical engineer. His twin brother is an electrical engineer. That's who helped me make this. So I let them do most of this. I will again have the videos on how to build this in the description, and it does come with a very nice user manual. Things I want to note here, we did use a nail gun. It was easier than using the nails that it came with, which were just hard based off the angle that we have this in the room to nail in. I would suggest that. Outside of that, the build was actually really, really good. You do get extra pieces, so in case anything isn't right or you want to swap them out or something gets broken, you do have those extras. I also like the shims for the top. We lucked out because we only needed 2 pieces. He was able to actually just fit everything so tight on this. It was just the 2 pieces instead of a ton, but they do give you a lot of different shims, so it's easy to fill the top spacing here and just create an airtight seal. Now I helped where I could, but this is predominantly my 2 clients, and it took them about 4.5–5 hours to run the electrical and build this. And we were fortunate to not run into any major issues when building this. The manual, everything was just laid out extremely well, and anything we were maybe potentially concerned or confused by, we just looked at the videos. So we had those 2 resources when making this. Now let's go ahead and shift over into the upgrades that I've made, because once we had this thing set up, everything was good to go. First thing that I did upgrade was a smart outlet for the LED light strip. So this uses the Smart Life app, and you can see I have the sauna timer. That's the other upgrade. This is a quick, easy purchase here. I think this is like 10 bucks. So instead of unplugging and plugging this thing in every time I want to use it, I can simply just turn it on from the app. So that is an easy upgrade. The next one, harder. I had to bring the electrical engineer back over. So this is a pool timer that we've essentially repurposed to be a timer for the sauna. So we've bypassed the timer on the actual heater itself. It is now controlled through the app. So I can simply turn this on and off from the app. I can set a schedule. I could be at work, turn it on, and it can be ready to go by the time I get home. I could say, hey, every evening I want this to turn on at 7 p.m. because I'm going to be in the sauna at 7:30. You can set a schedule. There's a lot that you can do, and it uses the same Smart Life app that the Smart Outlet uses. So everything is under the same roof in terms of being in that same ecosystem. So it's just easy to use. I'm going to have a link for the pool timer. I think I bought it for close to 50 bucks. I'm going to stress this again, though. You do want an electrician, and my client is an electrical engineer, but he is a certified electrician on top of that. You do want a professional when it comes to installing or doing any adjustments with any of this stuff. I did want to showcase the installation and user manuals here. It's just hard to find a place for it, so this may seem a little bit out of sorts with what I'm about to talk about. But here you could pause this if you wanted to and actually take a good look at what is on the pages when it comes to the user manual. So for me personally, I love this sauna. I use it about 5 days a week. Here, the other big draw was the financing through Bread. I got this kind of laid out for 18 months instead of being confined to 6 or 12. It just made the payments on this easier. One thing to note though is you cannot make a down payment. So when you sign up for this, you can't be like, hey, I want to put down $1,000 on this to bring the overall monthly payments down. You can't do that. And any extra payments that you do, because I called up and I was like, hey, I want to like put 1,000 and we'll just take that off of it. One, they told me that, hey, we don't do that. The other thing is any extra money that you pay comes off the back end. It's not like you could pay 1,000 and then, hey, let's go ahead and cover this for the next 6 months. No, it comes off of the back end with the payments, not on the front end. In terms of the space here, this does easily fit 2 people. I am 6 foot, 215 pounds. So me and my wife can sit in this easily, or me and my son. If you crammed a third person in there, it's just too tight. It's just not going to work. Right? They'd have to be very, very small. The wood that borders the heater, I do like that. That's probably the only thing in this whole thing that actually feels slightly flimsy compared to everything else. The seats feel solid. Again, I'm 215 pounds sitting on this, no issues at all. Now for my height, I'm 6 foot. So if you see me standing on this, my head actually touches the top. I have to it bends my neck, or I'm gonna have to bend my knees. But you wouldn't be standing up in this anyways. So if you're much larger than me, then I probably wouldn't go with this. For everybody else, if you're 6 foot or under, this should easily fit you. Now, a couple loose things that I was thinking about. The bottom of the barrel actually has a hole. I plugged it, but that's for any condensation that would run through it. On the front, on the left-hand side, you see these openings. Inside is a wood piece that you can turn. That's for if you're using steam and it gets too steamy, or maybe just heat if it gets too hot. If you turn that, it opens those up and you can let some of that heat or that steam out. On the very back by the heater as well, you will have the openings to run all of the cables. Right now I just have those open. They're not completely plugged, but it gets so hot in here, I don't think it's an issue. It's not something that I have to actually plug. So for me, this sauna is a home run. I love this thing. We almost got the 6x5 an extra foot. We were thinking, hey, it'd be me, my wife, my son, maybe down the road my daughter when she's older. I don't think we would ever all use it at the same time. So for me, 2 people in this thing, perfect. If you do need more, they do have the 6x5. You get that extra foot of sitting space, and that may better suit your needs. They also have regular ones that are boxes. You don't have to go with the barrel, but to me this is space efficient here. And I just like the feel of being in the barrel. You have more room to kind of lean back. I did actually want to showcase the 2 shim pieces. Look at, we just used 2. It fits so perfect, but they have a bunch of other ones if you needed to fill this out. And again, you have those extra parts. So we have a ton of extra boards. And I would say as you're building this, look for some, because we actually have one in the sauna. I'm not going to rip it apart for this one part, but it actually has a flake of the wood coming off. I should have been paying more attention because these other ones don't have that. But if I ever need to tear this down, rebuild it, if anything breaks, you have these extras. I do like that they have that. Oh, and the straps here, by the way, when you do, if you're going to use a nail gun or just use the nails that they supply, and they do supply all the screws and everything that you would need to build this, but the strap that holds this very tight actually covers those holes so you won't see them. I do like that they have that set up that way, so it's not an eyesore to just see, again, kind of exposed holes where you know that those trim nails, essentially is what they're using, has actually gone into the wood. One downside that I have seen here in terms of construction, there was a subtle gap with the glass. It just wasn't set 100% straight. There's so much heat in this thing. I don't think that's a big issue. I'm actually just going to get a better liner for the top that'll cover that little hole. That's the only kind of cosmetic thing. The wood flake, that's just, it's wood. It's going to be there. You're going to have a couple pieces with this. Outside of that, everything here is just top quality. Wood smells great. Process of building was, I didn't do it. I would definitely say if you're looking at this and you're not great making things, and I don't think that I am, have somebody help you. I do think it can be done. I just was so worried about things being crooked that I found some people to help me that are just better at that stuff. For the thermometer, one was not included with the one that I bought. You may find one that has that included because we did look at those complimentary kits and it had one in there, but that could change. So by the time you watch this video, it may be different. The one that I bought, it can't keep up. I had to use the meat thermometer. This one, when it peaks at 223 degrees, the actual sauna thermometer tells me it's only 170 degrees. So I don't think, because it doesn't keep it hot for an incredibly long period of time, I don't think those work very well. So again, I'm looking at a digital. I wish we had a better option there. Outside of that, like I said, I've loved everything here. So now I want to talk about the health benefits. So for me, this is an easy recommendation. If you've been looking at a sauna from Select Saunas, the Almost Heaven, and they've been around for like 60 years, easy recommendation here. But in terms of just information, I would look at Dr. Rhonda Patrick, or Huberman is another good one, but I'm going to put a link for one of Dr. Rhonda Patrick's podcasts specifically on the sauna. Just the thing that always stands out to me is a dry sauna versus if you're looking at like an infrared one, it mimics cardio. It's the closest thing that mimics cardio without being cardio. You cannot replace cardio. You have to still do your cardio, but this mimics it very close because you get the increase in heart rate, the vasodilation like you would with cardio. You get the sweating, and with that, she goes over the statistics and the studies as to why doing this for 4 times a week, 176 degrees for 20 minutes is super beneficial. Now, I typically like to go 195, 200 for 15 minutes, so I go a little bit hotter for shorter time. So those are just numbers that you can tweak there. But again, I will have a link for that in the description if you want to listen to it. And if you have any questions about this sauna, let me know in the comment section. I will make sure to answer that for you there. I will have a link for this and all the other things that I've talked about, the timer, the outlets. I'm going to have any type of coupons or codes that I can find so you can get an even larger discount for this. Fingers crossed on that because these do change quite a bit, but check back frequently on this. Select Saunas, it was the cheapest website I found. I contacted them, everything was clean, it was transparent, it shipped faster. Some of the other websites that I looked at, it was like 16 to 20 week lead times. It was insane. And so I can get the Almost Heaven saunas cheaper from Select Saunas than I can from Almost Heaven, buying from them directly. So again, this was just a better price. I got more perks and extras with this. It's the same saunas that you're going to find other places because again, Select Saunas is just a third-party seller here selling Almost Heaven's saunas. But I got more perks than I would have gotten going through other companies, and I got to stretch out the financing with bread that I wasn't able to do with other companies. Again, I was tied to like 6 to 12 months and I got to stretch this out to 18. It was just financially easier for me. So that is going to officially wrap this video up. If you've been on the fence, if you've been apprehensive when it comes to whether it's the actual sauna itself from Almost Heaven or it's Select Saunas as the website, hopefully this video has put your mind at ease, because great website to order this from, great company to actually purchase from, easy to do. You get all the extras that I talked about, and then the sauna itself is just phenomenal on top of that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the video, hit the like button for me, as it helps the channel out. And if you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.